The winter season is hard. The days are shorter, it's harder to be outside, and many people feel like when winter comes, it just brings along this draining feeling that makes you not really want to do much of anything. My name is Travis, and I'm a therapist who's passionate about self-development, and today we're going to go into not only how to manage your mental health during the winter, but how to actually make the most of this winter season and enjoy it and thrive. I was watching this video the other day of people who live in Yakutsk, otherwise known as the coldest city in the world, with regular winter temperatures between -30 to -40 degrees Fahrenheit. And it was fascinating because in this video I saw that people were consistently bundling up and they were really embracing the winter weather by covering themselves head to toe and still being able to go outside and do things. Now, as I'm filming this outside, it's significantly warmer by me than it is in Yakutsk, and I can't really fathom what it's like to live in that kind of cold. But the video did get me thinking. One comment under the video, someone wrote, "In my country we have a saying that there's no such thing as bad weather, only bad clothes." And I thought this was a fascinating perspective because in the winter, many people do just about everything they can to not be outside and not really embrace the weather. But as we know, being outside, getting fresh air, sunlight, seeing friends, socializing, all of these things are super important to our mental and physical well-being. So that leaves us here where we're sort of at a crossroads now where we know these things are really good for us to be outside, get fresh air, socialize, live life as we normally would any of the other seasons of the year. But the cold weather and short days make it really hard to do so. So what do we do here? My perspective is that as much as possible, we try to embrace the cold and really double down on these healthy habits that become harder to do and harder to manage during the winter. Because a big reason that the winter is hard on people's mental health is because the winter prevents people from engaging in these healthy habits that we would otherwise do throughout the year. Habits that we want to do and enjoy doing and do with much greater ease throughout the rest of the year, but the cold weather and short days just really make it much harder to do so. For example, during the winter, it becomes much harder to get a good sleep schedule because it may be cold. It's harder to go outside to see people. People want to be out less and do things. And just naturally, we kind of curl more into becoming more insular during the winter season. So really the way to combat this is to be mindful of which of these healthy practices are being affected the most and trying to double down and figure out ways to circumvent the cold or to manage the cold and still do these healthy habits. For example, if your home is cold and the winter weather is making it really hard to get a good sleep schedule, you can really double down on your nighttime routine, making sure that you're optimizing the quality of your sleep as much as possible. Wear more layers to bed. Try to sleep more hours that if you're not making up for it in quality, you can at least try to make up for it in quantity to really get a good night's sleep. If you feel more lonely during the winter and it's really hard to get outside, then you can really prioritize spending time with friends and make it a more active goal in your mind. Double down on it and say, okay, I know I get lonely during the winter. I'm going to spend X amount of time, or I'm going to spend X times during the week with friends, and really commit to that and double down on it, making it a priority. Whereas the other seasons, these things would be much easier to do. During the winter, it's not as easy to do, but that doesn't make it less important. For me, I don't like being outside when it's really cold. So what I try to do to manage this is I invest in some gloves, I invest in a winter coat, I invest in warm socks, and by investing in these things and using all of these tools, I'm able to better manage the winter weather and still be outside and still try to get adequate sunlight, still take walks around as much as possible. It's not as easy during the summer, not nearly as easy during the summer, but I know it's still super important for me, so I try to do it. Taking care of your health during the winter is really about adapting and navigating to the new environment rather than surrendering to it. A key point to remember is that due to the cold or due to other factors, you may not feel like doing these things, meaning it's not so comfortable to go from a warm house inside to bundle up and just prepare so much just to go on a walk. But it's important to remember, even if we don't feel like doing it, it's important to do these things anyways because they are so good for us, for our physical and mental well-being. You may not be able to and probably won't be able to completely live life like you would normally during the summer. So this won't be a perfect solution. But by embracing healthy habits, we're able to mitigate the effect that the colder weather and winter season has on us. And we're able to navigate the colder weather much more effectively. If you found this video valuable, I encourage you to share it with a friend who may benefit. Leave a comment on what cold weather practices, what winter season practices really help your physical and mental health. And remember to hit life on all cylinders.